Welcome to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit, where political power meets horsepower and market moves ripple through the engine bay of the global economy. Today, we're veering off the track of torque specs and EV range to dive into a high-octane financial and political controversy. A single post from President Donald Trump has thrown Wall Street into overdrive and drawn the attention of ethics watchdogs across the nation. On April 9th, 2025, Trump posted on Truth Social, "This is a great time to buy, DJT." Just hours later, he announced a 90-day tariff pause for most countries, excluding China. The market, it roared. The S&P 500 climbed over 9%, the Nasdaq surged 12%, and Trump Media, yes, ticker symbol DJT, jumped more than 22%. Coincidence? Or a calculated move with financial consequences? Let's break down the gears of this political-economic collision. The chain reaction that fueled the frenzy. It all began on the morning of April 9th. At exactly 9:37 a.m. ET, Trump fired off a message that instantly turned heads. "This is a great time to buy, DJT." Investors scrambled. DJT might stand for Donald J. Trump, but it also happens to be the ticker symbol for Trump Media and Technology Group, the same company behind his social platform, Truth Social. Then came the real shocker. Less than 4 hours later, Trump announced a sweeping 90-day pause on most tariffs, save for China. This sudden policy shift sent the markets into overdrive. Major indexes posted some of their biggest gains in years. For investors who acted fast, it was a jackpot. But here's the rub. Analysts began noticing unusually heavy trading volume in the hours before the announcement, specifically in call options for the S&P 500 and Nasdaq. In other words, someone may have had advance knowledge of the upcoming rally. That's when whispers of insider trading turned into full-blown demands for investigation. But the political response was just getting started, so let's move to the next gear. Political blowback hits the accelerator. The fallout from Trump's market-moving post and sudden tariff pause has triggered bipartisan alarm. Lawmakers are now demanding answers and swift investigations into possible insider trading. Senator Adam Schiff raised serious concerns, questioning whether individuals within the administration profited from advance knowledge of the policy shift. Who knew about the tariff flip-flop? And did anyone trade on it? He asked. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez called for full disclosure from members of Congress, urging them to reveal any stock trades made within 48 hours of the announcement. She also renewed her push for banning insider trading in Congress, citing the need to rebuild public trust. Adding more pressure, a group of 19 House Democrats led by Representative Maxine Waters sent a formal letter to the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, urging an immediate investigation. They emphasized the need to identify who had access to non-public information and whether that intel was used for personal financial gain. With trust in institutions hanging in the balance, the message from Capitol Hill is clear. Transparency must take the wheel. Before we delve deeper, do us a favor. Smash that like button and subscribe to Piston Pundit. It fuels our drive to bring you the most powerful stories where politics and pistons collide. Now let's shift gears into the next chapter, where legality, ethics, and timing converge. Ethics, ambiguity, and a legal minefield. As scrutiny mounts, so do the ethical and legal questions surrounding Trump's post. Was it a general market boost, or a targeted tip toward his own company? Ethics experts like Richard Painter, a former White House ethics lawyer, warn that even the appearance of self-dealing by a president can corrode public trust, and the timing couldn't look worse. Trump Media stock surged more than 22% shortly after the announcement. That's a massive windfall for anyone holding shares or call options in advance. Legally, the road is less defined. U.S. insider trading laws rely more on precedent than clear statutes, making prosecutions especially tricky, more so when high-profile public officials are involved. Still, watchdogs aren't staying silent. Analysts are combing through trades, and the court of public opinion is already in session. Even if it doesn't break the law, the optics alone can seriously dent faith in fair markets. And when trust starts to sputter, the impact goes far beyond one post. That takes us straight into the broader picture. When trust in the market starts to sputter. Trump's post and tariff reversal didn't just shake stocks, they rattled the foundation of investor confidence. When a president's words spark a market surge, people pay attention. But when those words seem timed for personal gain, the perception of fairness begins to unravel. Markets rely on stability and clear communication. Sudden shifts, especially without warning, create uncertainty. Combine that with cryptic social media posts, and it's easy to see why investors feel uneasy. For long-term participants, unpredictability is a red flag, not an opportunity. This kind of volatility doesn't just impact portfolios, it chills broader investment and economic growth. Hesitant investors mean slower business expansion and less capital flowing through the economy. Perhaps most troubling is the belief that some insiders can profit while everyday investors are left guessing. That perception undermines the very principle of a level playing field and deepens public distrust. If trust continues to erode, the consequences go beyond the stock charts. They hit democracy itself. So how do we fix a system where the rules seem optional for the powerful? The next chapter has the answers lawmakers are pitching. Pressure builds for reform under the hood. With ethical red flags waving and public outrage climbing, momentum for reform is revving up. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are calling for stricter rules governing the financial dealings of high-ranking officials. Among the loudest voices, Senator Elizabeth Warren and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, both pushing for tighter oversight and transparency. Their proposals include banning members of Congress and top officials from trading individual stocks altogether, enforcing blind trusts, and requiring real-time disclosures for financial moves. These aren't just lofty ideals, they're attempts to realign the system before it veers completely off track. But critics warn that regulatory engines may be too weak to take on the high-horsepower players. Agencies like the SEC and DOJ need the autonomy and backbone to investigate without fear or favor, especially when the trail leads to a president. And it's not just lawmakers sounding the alarm. Watchdog groups and everyday citizens alike are demanding action, pushing for stronger enforcement of the Stock Act and closing loopholes that have been abused for years. As Senator Warren put it bluntly, accountability shouldn't be optional. If action isn't taken now, it risks setting a precedent where political elites can rev markets at will and profit while doing it. Verdict: can ethics outrun power? The Trump insider trading controversy has revealed a troubling imbalance, where influence moves markets and accountability lags behind. If this goes unchecked, it risks cementing a system where the powerful profit while everyone else plays catch-up. But this moment could be more than just another headline. If lawmakers act, tightening regulations, enforcing penalties, and closing loopholes, it might just reset the rules of the game. This isn't just a scandal. It's a test of whether our institutions can protect fairness over favoritism. Now we want to hear from you. Do you believe Trump's Truth Social post was a deliberate market signal or just bad timing? Should public officials be banned from trading stocks altogether? Do you trust agencies like the SEC to carry out an impartial investigation? Will this scandal trigger real reform, or fade into the background like so many before it? Drop your takes in the comments below. We want to hear what gearheads and thinkers like you have to say. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive into how politics and power intersect with the world of vehicles and beyond. Thanks for making Piston Pundit your ultimate pit stop. Until next time, drive smart, think sharp. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There's plenty more to explore.